Bud Grant and the Minnesota Vikings have the Eagles in trouble. The Eagles, with their perfect 6-0 record, have run up against the Vikes and Tommy Kramer. It is 28-9 Minnesota in the fourth quarter. Bud Grant, counting playoffs, 144 victories. And on the other side, Dick Vermeil, who won his 50th in his career last week in the victory against New Orleans.
28-9 seems like a very, very big lead, but when you really break it down, it's 3 plays away from being back in the game. So, you know, they've got the win now. Things could happen.
And the Eagles have the personnel for big plays. Jaworski, Montgomery, Carmichael, etc. From the 19, Montgomery. And Montgomery is out to the 26-yard line with Studwell on the top. Matt Blair down at the bottom.
And here again, Minnesota, anticipating throwing the ball on the part of Philadelphia, is not playing the 3-4. They're playing a 4-3, trying to get more pressure when they have to rush the passer from their 4-man line instead of trying to rush with 3.
So 1st and 10. There's the comparison, and as you can see, Kramer is having a tremendous day. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 26. Jaworski down the right side, and he's got his man Charlie Smith. John Turner kind of pushed him out of bounds at the 42-yard line. And just like that, the Eagles pick up another 1st down. That's the second one.
Charlie Smith does a good job of coming off the line of scrimmage like he's going to run a deep pattern, then breaks to the outside. The ball is thrown right on the money, and John Turner, number 27, gets there just a little bit too late.
So 1st and 10 for Philadelphia on their own 42-yard line. 28-9 Vikings. The Vikings did not score in the first quarter, but they had 21 points in the second and 7 more in the third. Meanwhile, the Eagles had a touchdown in the first quarter and a field goal in the second. Montgomery, oh, what a hit by Jeff Seaman. Hit him head on. Jeff Seaman, number 50, 10 years out of Stanford. He's been in 4 Pro Bowls, and when you see him make a stick like that, you know why.
Yes, he's very tough on the inside, and they're using a 4-man line, and he's the only middle linebacker. And watch Montgomery trying to cut back away from the middle linebacker at that time, but he didn't flow. Caught him right in the hole with a beautiful tackle. Number 50.
So Jeff Seaman puts the wood to Montgomery. That makes it 2nd and 9 on the Eagle 43-yard line. Montgomery on a wing. Carmichael in a slot. Jaworski to Smith. Charlie Smith makes the reception at the 29-yard line despite the effort by Willie Teal. Good catch by Charlie Smith, 8 years from Grambling.
And they had the right linebacker McNeil blitzing on the play. He didn't get penetration. Jaworski really stayed in the pocket well. Holloway got inside pressure. He threw the ball just beautifully on the outside on Willie Teal, and it's a big 1st down.
And you might notice too, Charlie Smith is wearing gloves. So 1st and 10 on the Minnesota 29, and Jaworski trying to inspire his club now. Smith and Carmichael slot left, Montgomery on a wing, and Oliver the setback. And it's Oliver slanting to the 25-yard line. A lot of people involved in it. Matt Blair, the principal hitter, and down at the bottom is Scott Studwell.
These are 2 very well coached teams, man, which is very obvious. But Bud Grant has done a great job with the Minnesota Vikings, and of course Dick Vermeil has done such a super job with the Eagles.
By the way, Hank, talking about super jobs, I mentioned before Bud Grant has won 144, including playoff. You won 130 some odd, didn't you?
It was something like that,
yeah,
yes.
It sure was. 2nd and 6 from the 25. And Jaworski down the right side to Montgomery. Touchdown, Wilbert Montgomery. He took it away from Walt Williams, who couldn't quite stay with him.
Did you see the cute little bump he got there on Williams? If we see it in the replay, he hesitated a lot, just long enough. Watch him. He's got a one-on-one on Walt Williams, and watch what happens downfield. He's looking to the inside, and watch here, he delays a little bit. See the little bump, pushes off of him, and makes the catch. Beautiful play by Wilbert Montgomery, number 31.
Beautiful pass from Jaworski to just lead him perfectly. There wasn't much that Walt Williams could do. So now it is 28-15, and suddenly you feel it in the ballpark. Wait a minute. Is it going to be one of those second halves for the Eagles against the Vikes?
And another thing is, I remember we talked about earlier, they've got to win in the fourth quarter. That's very, very important.
That was a little bit of a skitterish point after, but they made it. So it is 28-16. Vikings. Take another look. Jaworski to Wilbert Montgomery.
And they have Montgomery out wide as a flanker, and they got the match they wanted. They wanted Williams to try to cover him. He didn't. Touchdown, Philadelphia.
Well, Tony Franklin barefooted here in Minnesota. 28-16 Vikings. Eddie Payton standing on the 1-yard line waiting for the kick, and it's coming right at you. That's the way Payton sees it. Eddie takes it at the 1, to the 10, behind the wedge, to the 20, 25, 30, upended by Roynell Young, and down he goes at about the 33. Roynell Young, number 43, kind of submarined him.
And I'm surprised that Eddie Payton is able to play as well as he is playing this afternoon. We saw him in the locker room yesterday in the training room getting treatment. There was some question as to whether he'd be able to play, but he's really come back in good shape, has done a great job.
He's the older brother of Walter Payton. And as you can see, Philadelphia's numbers, Jaworski's 25 to Montgomery gets him back in the ball game. So now the Vikings have it. 1st and 10 on the Viking 33. Play action fake to Brown, and Kramer finally unloading to Rashad, who makes the reception about a half a yard shy of the first down. And Charlie Johnson really lowered the boom on Tommy Kramer. Say, friends, we'd like to alert our viewers in Tampa Bay and Washington that the National Football League requires us to leave this game at 4 o'clock so that you can see full coverage of your home team. We'll continue to update you on this game as it comes to a conclusion. Kramer took such a hit that Charlie Johnson almost knocked him out of his uniform. But Kramer is 6'2", 205-pounder, a remarkable athlete. 2nd and 1 on the 42, and they stay on the ground and burst across to midfield. And it's Ted Brown who picks up the first down and then some, with Al Chesley bringing him down. A couple of scores for you. Look at that wild one. Atlanta 27, St. Louis 20 in the 3rd quarter. 13-3 San Francisco beginning to assert themselves over Green Bay. New Orleans in a tough one with Cleveland, leading 17-13 in the 3rd. 33-14 Jets with 4:21 left in the 4th. All right, 1st and 10 at midfield. In motion, Sammy White. Both backs release, and Kramer to White at midfield, and Roynell Young wraps him up, so they picked up maybe 2 yards on the play at best, 2 or 3. Roynell Young, only in his 2nd year at Alcorn State, and look at Cincinnati knocking holes in Pittsburgh 34-0. And one more, San Diego at a halftime with Baltimore 23-7, so you're right up to date. 2nd and 7. The ball on the Eagle 47-yard line. 28-16 Minnesota.
You know, it's frustrating to play defense against this Kramer kid because he gets rid of the ball so quickly. Even though you rush him, you get there a little bit too late.
2nd and 7. Kramer rolling to his left, throwing to White, who can't hold on to it. Jerry Robinson picked it up on a bounce. So it'll be a 3rd and 7.
Roynell Young did a good job of covering on the play. This time Kramer rolls out to his left, gets away from all the inside traffic. You see Sammy White, 85, breaking to the outside, but Roynell Young really does a great job of covering on the play.
So 3rd and 7 on the Eagle 47-yard line. 28-16 Minnesota. We have 10 minutes and 16 seconds left in the game. And remember, the Eagles dominated the Vikings in the 2nd half in their 2 meetings last year. And you can see the 3rd down conversions, they're almost equal. 3rd and 7. On a draw to Ted Brown, he got around Hairston. He gets by Herman Edwards, and he finally goes out by Bernard Wilson, but he picked up the first down. So a gutsy run by Ted Brown to pick it up.
And Rashad really did a good job of blocking on the play. It wasn't anything as far as a great physical block, but he got in the way enough where he provided Brown with, there you see the block.
On Herman Edwards.
Yeah, and you see Brown pop to the outside and get the necessary yardage for the first down.
So the ball is now on the Eagle 37-yard line, and the Vikings have it 1st and 10. The one man who had a shot but couldn't quite get an angle on him was Carl Hairston, who reached out, but he was about a half a foot shy of getting hold of Ted Brown. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 37. LeConte is wide left, and they go slot right. Kramer broken up and could have been caught by Reggie Wilkes, only he was thinking knock it down first. And the 4-year man out of Georgia Tech. There's Reggie.
The defensive backs on that right side, I was just getting ready to say, Ben, that right side was really open, and it was, except Wilkes leaped up into the air and knocked the ball down. Really a good play on his part.
He's the cousin of Jamal Wilkes, the well-known basketball player. All Reggie could do is dribble it. Take another look at that play.
There he is. Kramer going back into the pocket, a short drop, and that's the reason it's tough to get to him, because he takes a short drop and gets rid of the ball so quickly that it's hard to rush him as efficiently as you like.
Back to live. Kramer under some heat, and down he goes. All over him is Humphrey, and he gets a push from Chesley. Al Chesley got hot and pushed Kramer, who was already down. And now you can see Humphrey saying, hey, Tommy, easy. He wasn't thinking. Chesley, 3 years out of Pittsburgh, got a little carried away. And Humphrey, 14 years out of Tennessee State. At 37, he's the wise head to cool matters down. Tommy Kramer. 4 touchdown passes to 4 different receivers. 2 tight ends, Sensor and Brewer. He's also completed for touchdowns to Sammy White and Ahmad Rashad. 3rd and 21 on the Eagle 48. Pitch back to Ted Brown. He has Riley in front of him. And at the bottom to break the play down was Jerry Robinson. With Steve Riley leading the way, Robinson just took Riley down and stacked it up.
That was really a good call, because they had a long way to go for the first down, and you might surprise them with the run, which they did. They got a good chunk back on that 3rd down outside run.
They spot the ball at the Eagle 35-yard line. So Wally Henry again going deep on the Eagle 5-yard line, and Greg Coleman will punt again. Coleman out of Florida A&M. And his average doesn't look so good, because recently he kicked one out of bounds to prevent a run back. Well, Coleman will be kicking from the Eagle 45, and Wally Henry will be taking the kick, which will be sent up into the wind. 4th down and 7. The ball on the 35-yard line. And a flag on the play. Evidently too much time. Maybe that was on purpose so he wouldn't kick it into the end zone.
Yeah, it was deliberate. They just waited until the time ran out to bring the ball back 5 more yards so he'd get a better shot at a coffin corner kick, I think.
So they'll try it again. That's a pretty good buy of 5 yards under the circumstances. That'll make it 4th down and 12. The ball on the 39, and they'll move it out now to spot it just about on the 40.
Delay, number 8.
So Greg Coleman has bought the extra 5 yards. Now let's see what he can do about it. The wind, which was 32 miles an hour at the start of the game, gusting to 45, has died down for the moment. He gets it away. It's going to hit and go in, so the strategy doesn't pay off, and Coleman, fit to be tied, delayed the game to get the extra 5, but still kicked it in the end zone. So the Eagles will have it 1st and 10 in their 20, 28-16 Vikings.
Ever since Honda invented the ATC three-wheeler, people have been finding out that three-wheeling is fun.
You call this fun?
And now that there are 5 different models, you never saw such fun.
Fun?
But would you believe that some folks use them just for work?
Follow the leader.
Neither would we.
Your day is long and your work is hard, and your boots say Acme. Your boots say Acme. Your boots say Acme. Your boots say Acme, the real West.
Wednesday, it's twice the fun when Zach's Magic turns a fashion show inside out. Then will labor relations spoil WKRP? Wednesday.
Dick Vermeil and his Eagles have 8 minutes and 18 seconds left in the game, and they trail by 12 as they try to remain undefeated. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 20-yard line. Play action fake to Montgomery, and they're going to set up a screen, and it was partially deflected by Doug Martin, number 79. He is 6'3", but he must have looked 7 feet tall to Jaworski.
Boy, he really got good penetration that time, and the thing was set up nicely, trying to throw a screen to the left side, but Doug Martin, number 79, got in there very well and knocked the ball down.
By the way, a moment ago they flashed Dick Vermeil's career record, but they did not add the 6 that he's won this year. He's won 50 in his career. 2nd and 10 on the 20-yard line. And Jaworski trying to get his Eagles off the ground again. Side, and he's got his tight end Keith Krepfle, Fred McNeil, chasing him out of bounds. He got out at the 26-yard line, so it'll be a 3rd and 4 on the 26.
If they continue to move the ball, then they got Montgomery one-on-one on the outside there, one-on-one. We might see another long pass to him if they get a little better field position.
By the way, Harold Carmichael has caught 4, and Wilbert Montgomery has caught 4. Those have been the leading receivers. And we can duck in a final now. The Jets have polished off Buffalo 33-14. Another final, San Francisco in a dogfight, but they held on to beat Green Bay 13-3. All right, 3rd and 4 on the 26-yard line. Jaworski out of a shotgun. Canfield is in there to help with the blocking. And the pass is complete for the first down to Wilbert Montgomery. He's dropped by Keith Nord on the far side of the field. So Montgomery picks up his 5th reception of the day.
You know, talking to Vermeil yesterday, we talked about Montgomery, and he said that if he felt like it and felt he could had to use him outside, if he started the season as a flanker, he could be one of the better or one of the best flankers in the National Football League at that position, too, along with being a running back.
Well, Pittsburgh finally got on the scoreboard, but Cincinnati polished them off 34-7. Don't forget today's doubleheader. We'll see if Tampa Bay 4-2 can shut out Oakland or not. That certainly has to be part of that game. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 33. Jaworski has it intercepted by Matt Blair, and Matt Blair picks it off at the Eagle 44-yard line.
Three-man rush. Linebackers getting deep drops, and Matt Blair, the fine athlete that he is, number 59, comes up with a great interception here for the Minnesota Vikings. There you see it, delivering the ball, and Blair comes out in front and makes a big catch.
4th Philadelphia turnover. The winning lineup tonight on CBS, 60 minutes. Archie Bunker's plays, followed by One Day at a Time, then Alice, the Jeffersons, and topping it off, Trapper John, M.D. You can't beat it right here on CBS. For Ron Jaworski, he has thrown 2 interceptions. Add to that 2 more turnovers, and Philadelphia having a miserable day on that department. 7 minutes, 8 seconds left in the game. The Vikings leading 28-16, and they have it 1st and 10 on the Eagle 44. Ted Brown with Jim Huff blocking, and he's finally brought down, but what a nice block Jim Huff threw on Reggie Wilkes. He just cut Wilkes' legs right out from under him.
Yes, he sure did. And they're leaning that way. Brown underneath handoff, and watch number 51, Jim Ho. A beautiful block out in front. Good running on the part of Ted Brown, number 23.
And a flag on the play, and the penalty against Philadelphia. And that will bring the ball down to about the 22-yard line of the Eagles, and we'll get Fred Silva's call.
Defense, number 22. Face mask, 1st down.
Well, that's Bernard Wilson, guilty of the infraction. Take another look. See him reaching out and grabbing the iron and then jerking Brown down. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 22. 28-16 Vikings, 6:56 left in the game. Kramer to Brown, and Brown diving across the 20 to about the 18-yard line. We'd like to alert our viewers again in Tampa Bay and Washington. The NFL requires us to leave this game at 4 o'clock your time so that you can see full coverage of your home team. We'll continue to update you on this game as it comes to a conclusion, so you have a couple of minutes left to be with us, and we've enjoyed it. Vin Scully along with Hank Stram visiting with you from Bloomington, Minnesota. 2nd and 6 on the Eagle 18. Tommy Kramer, big day, 24 for 46, 257 yards and 4 touchdowns. Ted Brown got away from Chesley, got away from Johnson, and gets down to the 1.
Boy, what a job of running.
Oh.
You know, and he's such an easy rider, kind of a runner, that you don't look like he's eating up as much yardage as he actually is. Watch the good read. Good block by Ricky Young. Falls off a tackler. Gets by number 65, Charlie Johnson, and fights his way through the traffic and almost comes right out the other end, right down about the 1-yard line.
So Ted Brown has caught 11 passes for 90 yards. He has rushed 19 times for 87 yards. What a day for Ted Brown. He's the 3-year man out of North Carolina State. 23 skidoo. 1st and goal on the 1. Touchdown, Minnesota. The first one they picked up on the ground today. So that makes it 34-16 in favor of the Minnesota Vikings. The land of the purple people eagle eaters. And for Ted Brown, that just caps off a great day. Now he has a total of 178 yards on passes and rushes. Ted Brown, what an individual day. And remember, he had 109 yards on pass receptions last week. Now Dan Meyer trying to make it a perfect day with his foot, and he does it. 35-16 in favor of Minnesota, and the Eagles are 5 minutes and 20 seconds away from being beaten. Out, of course, was Matt Blair's interception on the Eagle 44, and eventually Ted Brown, having a magnificent day, punched it over from 1 yard. 35-16 Vikings, and Wally Henry, the deep man, and waiting for the reception, and he'll have to come up and take it at the 14. Henry to the 25, to the 30, and gets maybe a couple more to the 33-yard line. Down at the bottom is Dennis Johnson making the tackle, number 52. So 1st and 10. They'll spot it on the Eagle 33. Hank, what do you think? 5 minutes left. Are they finished? They need 19 points just to tie.
Yeah, they need some big things to have happen for them to get back into this football game. And of course, you know, 5 minutes, a lot of crazy things can happen. You know where they're going to try. They're very intelligent. They're going to keep hustling. anything can happen.
As you look at these numbers, what about a 5-minute drill? Why not just go into your 2-minute drill for 5 minutes?
Well, that's a good observation, and they'll be doing that, I'm sure.
1st and 10 on the 33. 5:11 left in the game. Jaworski to Montgomery. He's at the 45, and they push him out of bounds at the 47-yard line, and immediately stops the clock, and it picks up a first down. Jaworski today, 20 for 33, 213 yards, but he's had 2 interceptions, and there were also 2 other turnovers that have really plagued Jaworski and the Eagles' efforts. So he's now gotten up to 228 yards. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 48. And the time, which is now Minnesota Allied, 5 minutes and 6 seconds. And a little screen to Hubert Oliver. He has Kenny blocking, but he's caught from behind by Duck White, and he is dropped at the 45-yard line. He has to get to the 42. So Oliver dragged down from behind by Duck White. San Diego increasing its lead by 7, so they're now up 30-7 over Baltimore in the 3rd quarter. Atlanta leading St. Louis 34-20 in the 4th. So it is 2nd and 3 on the Viking 45-yard line. Straight ahead is Hubert Oliver, and he's picked up more than the first down. They drop him at the 33-yard line. Hanging on was Matt Blair and Tommy Hannon. So 1st and 10 with 3:59 left in the game. The Eagles have 3 timeouts. So have Minnesota. 3:50. Carmichael and Smith go left. Montgomery, a wide receiver, right. Jaworski has his man Carmichael, and he's dropped by John Turner at the 21-yard line. So Harold Carmichael makes a key reception.
I don't know whether you can see it or not, but Montgomery was trying to get off. Oliver was trying to get off the ball that time and really got a shot by the linebacker on the play, Fred McNeil. McNeil, number 54.
So 1st and 10 on the Viking 21-yard line. 3:11 left in the game. It is 35-16 Vikings. Jaworski from the shotgun. Long count. Jaworski looking right, and he's got Carmichael, and he's going to go in the end zone for a touchdown. With 2:47 left, it is suddenly 35-22 as Carmichael makes the reception for the touchdown. For Carmichael, that would be his 2nd touchdown of the year.
This team is well poised and well disciplined, and they're hanging in there tough, executing their 2-minute offensive scheme of things, throwing outside to Carmichael. He makes the catch. He's aware of where he is. He straightens out, does not run out of bounds, runs up the field, and bounces into the end zone for the touchdown.
Boy, you know, at 6'8", he's a remarkable athlete. There's nothing floundering. There's nothing like a Raywood Stork or a Crane. He's graceful.
No, he's very fluid.
Oh, boy. The kick is good. So we have 2 minutes and 47 seconds left. The Vikings are leading the Eagles 35-23. Now, the Vikings won last week against San Diego because of an onside kick. With 2 minutes and 47 seconds, Hank, is it too early for anything like that?
No, you have to go for the onside kick, being behind like he is right now. They have to try the onside kick. You have to get the ball back, and you have to do something quickly to get back into this football game. It sounds like it's almost impossible, but it isn't. A lot of crazy things can happen.
35-23 Minnesota. 2 minutes and 47 seconds left. Interestingly enough, the Eagles got a touchdown in the first quarter. Since the first quarter, they had a field goal in the second quarter. They were blanked in the 3rd quarter. And now with time running out, they scored twice to get back in the game. There are the numbers to tell you the story.
But really, it's 35-23, and it looks like a big lead. But here again, 2 plays, 2 big plays and you're back in the contest and you're on top.
Talking about big plays, Jaworski has passed for 261 yards. Kramer has passed for 257 yards. So it's an aerial circus, it figured. But of course, Kramer is winning. Tony Franklin squirts it, and it's fielded by Tommy Hannon. And Hannon is dropped right at midfield, and the Vikings will keep the ball. There's number 45, Tommy Hannon at the bottom, and his bodyguard, number 54 or 59, Matt Blair. Blair is everywhere. You know what kind of a day Matt Blair has had today? Had 15 tackles. He's had 1 interception. He's had 1 fumble recovery. He has blocked 1 kick. Outside of that, he hasn't done anything.
He shouldn't be tired at all tonight, should he?
No. Hadn't done a thing. What were you saying about you used to address your team and call them imposters if they didn't bear down?
If we were playing poorly, yes. And at times we threatened them with the fact that we wouldn't pay them if they didn't play like they're supposed to play.
No imposter here. It's the real Matt Blair, and it's the real Ted Brown. Brown is stacked up, might have gotten a yard. You know, this game has been relatively free of penalties, which has added to the enjoyment of it. Good,
Yes,
solid football.
And I think it's a reflection on both coaches and their coaching staffs. They do an excellent job. Well-disciplined, well-poised football team that are well-drilled. And that's the reason for not having too many penalties here this afternoon.
2nd and 9 on the Eagle 48. Cleveland turned it around. So the blues of New Orleans continues. Cleveland 20, New Orleans 17. Ain't that a bummer?
Farmer was right about getting ready. I think he'd buy a new hat. One of those cowboy hats that he won that one.
2nd and 9 on the Eagle 48-yard line. 2 minutes and 38 seconds left in the ball game. The second quarter is the key to this one. The second quarter was completely dominated by the Vikings. They scored 21 points, and the Eagles could only muster a field goal in the second quarter. Now, with 2:38 left, it's 35-23 Vikings. Next Sunday, Tampa Bay at Philadelphia. Philadelphia, no doubt, will be licking wounds waiting for Tampa Bay. Minnesota, with a record, evidently, if they win today, of 5-2, will be at St. Louis. St. Louis losing to Atlanta. The Giants will be at Atlanta next week. So the gathering storm, you know, they were talking about a 20% chance of snow flurries today.
And remember, it all starts with the NFL today, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Good for you. There's Bud Grant, the head coach of Minnesota, once drafted and a great receiver for the Eagles. And Tommy Kramer giving to Ted Brown, and he gets to the 45-yard line, but he has to get just across the 40 for a first down, so he still has a long way to go. What a day for Ted Brown. He had knee surgery at the end of the '79 season. You didn't hear too much about him last year, but what a day today for Brown. And we're down to 2:24. Two good ball clubs. Of course, the Eagles, it didn't figure, Hank, that any club is going to go through the season in the NFL undefeated. I mean, that's impossible.
Yeah, it's tough with the competition as keen as it is and the balance as well distributed as it is. Why, it's tough for one team to go all the way, and the Eagles have done a super job so far, and I'm amazed at what a great job the Minnesota Vikings have done. The last time I saw them play, they played the Oakland Raiders in a Monday night game, and they were just terrible. And to bounce back like they have is a great compliment to Bud Grant and his coaching staff. They've done a super job. You
know, the NFL's longest, most recent winning streak at the start of a season was in 1977. Dallas went 8-0 on the way to a 12-2 regular season. The longest winning streak in Eagles history was 9, set by the 1960 NFL championship team. But the Vikings have the ball. They have a 12-point lead, and there's only 2:24 left in the game. 3rd and 6 on the Eagle 45. Rashad right, White left. Kramer with Jerry Robinson on a blitz coming in from the blind side. So Jerry Robinson, number 56, applying the heat. Great athlete. A reminder now, Tampa Bay has a big game because they are going to start the field actually trailing Minnesota. Minnesota is going to go into the locker room 5-2. Tampa Bay is going to take the field at Oakland 4-2. The Giants will be at Seattle, and Washington will be at Miami. Following our game. So the Vikings will have to feel very happy about the turn of events. And for the Eagles, I guess to be realistic, they figured sooner or later there had to be one of these days. And we've gotten down to the 2-minute warning. So with 2 minutes left in the game, the Minnesota Vikings 35 and the Philadelphia Eagles 23. We'll be back with more right after this. Falcons are eating the Cardinals 41-20 in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, Greg Coleman standing on the Viking 35-yard line. Wally Henry standing on the Eagle 10. 2 minutes left. 35-23 Vikings. Coleman trying to angle the ball to the sidelines. Henry trying to cut it off at the pass and can't handle it. And there's the one that Coleman wanted. Greg a couple of times trying to unload in the sidelines. Got it once, a couple of times kicked into the end zone, and that time he put it out of bounds at the 11-yard line. So the Eagles a long way to go, 89 yards, trailing by 12, and they have 1:58 left in the game. So Jaworski 24 for 37, 283 yards, but he's thrown 2 interceptions. Over the middle, he's got Carmichael, and so does Studwell. So Studwell hit him first, and then to make sure Carmichael didn't try and move, Seaman came over to keep him down. So that moves the ball from the 11 out to the 17, a pickup of 6 yards. 2nd and 4. And the pass to Montgomery, and Blair wraps Montgomery up just about enough for a first down. And look who is out on the scoreboard. Hank, Oakland finally did it. 3-0 leading Tampa Bay. Boy, that must be painful for Tom Flores. Oh,
yes, and of course they made a lot of changes, I understand, going into the game today. Young Mark Wilson was supposed to start at the quarterback position, and they made some other changes. So we'll be interested to see what happens after this contest is over with.
So they picked up the first down on the Eagle 23. We have 1:22 left in the game as Ramil talks to Jaworski. 35-23 in favor of Minnesota. The gathering storm. Just to update you, San Diego, Baltimore. Baltimore has picked up 7, but it's 30-14 San Diego in the third quarter. And the Giants have scored in the great indoors of Seattle. 3-0 New York in the first quarter. One minute and 22 seconds left. It would appear to be a hopeless cause. The Eagles down by 12. There's Ron's numbers. He has 295 and Kramer had 257. 2 touchdowns for Jaworski, 4 touchdowns for Kramer. And of course Kramer has not tossed an interception. Jaworski has 2.
Yes, but we've really seen 2 of the finest quarterbacks in the National Football League here this afternoon.
Minnesota with all the cards, including the timeouts remaining. Jaworski over the middle. He's got Montgomery, and Montgomery is stacked up at the 35-yard line. That's enough for a first down. But of course the first down is not a payoff window. You can go busted counting first downs. It's 35-23 Vikes.
Yeah, especially when you only have a minute left in the game and you're behind 35-23.
First and 10 from the 35. Jaworski, no good. John Turner just missed it. Tommy Hannon just missed it. We can duck in another score. Kansas City leading Denver 7-0 in the first quarter. We have 58 seconds left in our game. Particular thanks today to our statistician, Dr. Bob Woods. It has been an interesting numbers day indeed, especially for somebody like Ted Brown. 10 passes for 82 yards, 22 carries, and a touchdown, 92 yards. A bow to our spotter, Ron Cadwell. And to all the other folks who made this quite a story in Minnesota, the end of the Eagles' undefeated string. Wilbert Montgomery, he'll be pushed out by Matt Blair at the 46-yard line of Philadelphia. A particular thanks to our producer, executive producer, Terry O'Neill. Our senior producer, Charles H. Milton. I thought he was an admiral, I, but they tell me that's 3. Produced by Robert Stenner. Directed by Robert Fishman. And to all the other fellas who've been out here so early this morning, nice job, guys. Congratulations. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 46. Jaworski to Carmichael, and down he goes at about the 43. The first man to hit him was Dennis Johnson, and then as usual McNeil and Blair, who are always around the ball.
Makes you feel good to watch this team play. They know they're behind. They don't have much of a chance to win with only 27 seconds, but they're playing like they still got a chance, and that's what's really important.
Yeah, that's so true. They're not going through the motions. I guess among other things, professional pride makes you keep going.
That's exactly right.
What's the worst game you ever coached in the pros? What was the most one-sided game you were ever involved in? Do you remember?
Oh, I can't remember. I think one year we played Buffalo and got down at halftime like 28-0. It looked like they bombed us right off the bat.
Defense encroachment. First down.
On encroachment, the Eagles pick up a first down. The ball at the 38-yard line of Minnesota. Oakland has added a safety, so field goal and safety after all those desperate hours, and they're leading 5-0. 1st and 5 on the 38. And Jaworski is going to run. No, then he's going to throw. And down in the corner, he overshot Charlie Smith with 21 seconds left. That happens a lot, doesn't it? When you're on the run, you have a tendency to throw high.
Yes, that was a little high, but it looked like really that Charlie Smith had a chance to make the catch. He should have made the catch.
21 seconds left. We'll take another look, Hank.
Yeah, there you see him on the outside, running straight down the sideline with Carmichael on the inside. He breaks to the outside, and let's see where that ball is. Yeah, it's a little bit too high. He would have taken him right out of bounds.
2nd and 5 with 21 seconds left. 35-23 Minnesota. Most of you folks looking at our ball game will see the Tampa Bay Oakland game, so stay right with us. Jaworski cranking up. Goes over the middle to Wilbert Montgomery, and Minnesota jams him up at about the 21-yard line. And with 10 seconds left, Montgomery and Dennis Johnson have a few words. Dennis, a 2-year man out of USC, and Montgomery felt that with 10 seconds left, it was an unnecessary hit. Jaworski goes down underneath Randy Holloway, and the time has run out, or has it? It shows 2 seconds left on the clock. So the Eagles were 6-0, but they will lose today, and the Vikings will go into their clubhouse 5-2, and now it is official. Now for Hank Stram, this has been Scully saying so long from Metropolitan Stadium, where once again the final score was Minnesota 35, Philadelphia 23. Stay tuned to the second half of today's doubleheader. Most of you will see Tampa Bay at Oakland, Washington at Miami, New York at Seattle. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this word from your local station.